Hello my dear Gemini, this is your love and spirituality reading for the month of August 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I read for the signs in order most like the video, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for your sign. You can see the order I read in this time around at the community section of my channel. The reading can go both ways, so if I tell you that you are feeling or acting in a certain way, it can be in the reversed, that the person you are dealing with is feeling and acting in that way. The energy is the same, it's just different castings to the different roles by the universe. So for this reading I used the Druidcraft Tarot by Philip and Stephanie Cargom, illustrated by Will Worthington, and I will start shuffling your cards. So when I open your deck here, Gemini, I see the Five of Pentacles and the Moon card. So with the Five of Pentacles, it might be that you feel left out in the cold for some reason, that you feel unworthy, not loved enough, not appreciated enough. And with the moon, it's like invitation that you need to go and experience these feelings and see the root cause of them. What is it deep down inside of you that you are mirroring out in the outside world? Because, for example, if you are unable to create the kind of job that you want, it might be that deep down in your subconscious awareness, you are not feeling worthy of money or success. It might also be that you have certain beliefs about money, that they don't grow on trees and you need to work really hard to get them and things like this. So whenever you feel resistance like this, that you feel that you can't get your dreams fulfilled, it's usually something here in the subconscious that's preventing you and blocking you from experience this, what you want or what you need. We are not here to starve, but sometimes we ourselves has, for example, past life karmas, traumas, difficulties that's putting us in a position where we don't really fully love ourselves or appreciate ourselves. We might have been told that we are not worthy, we are not lovable, we are not good enough, we are not perfect, we are flawed, we are sinners, whatever it is that has now caused us to but eventually believe in this, and therefore also creating it in our lives. So this is just an invitation, we can say, to if you feel like this, figuring out why. You don't have to, rub your head into thinking, oh, I need to solve it, I need to solve it. You just need to kind of feel your way. Okay. So I call the divine with love and light. And here we have the Ace of Cups with the Five of Pentacles. So it's kind of indicated that self-love would fix the issue. That if you would love yourself and appreciate yourself and allow any feelings that is inside of you. You have the moon over there. If you would allow this, whatever it is that you're feeling, to be there, and kind of accept and embrace the full experience of this feeling and not reject it or hate it, or I don't want to feel in this way. You just stay with it and embrace it. That will create self-love within you eventually. So I'm thinking this is a very precious moment in time where Gemini can take a pause and kind of stop what you're doing and figuring out the foundation to why you are feeling and doing the things you do. So I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world, and we have a Princess of Swords here together with Five of Pentacles. So Princess of Swords seems to come a lot these days, and the Princess of Swords is kind of you aligning with the person you were when you came. So you have gone full lap. You have run around like crazy your whole life trying to be something that your parents wanted or society wanted from you. And now you realize that this hasn't gotten you what you thought you would get. It actually just made you feel like you're chasing something that would never be yours. So the next thing to try is, of course, to honor the person you were when you came and believe in yourself. Believe that you have the intelligence, the moral, the ethics, the kindness, the understanding, the right kind of emotion, the right kind of intuition to actually make you yourself happy, and also find your righteous place in the world. So it's like you need to align with that person you were when you came, and ideas that are truly natural for you, and that comes with you, that comes to you in a very natural way, without you having to figuring it out, or silencing something else inside of you, so this other thing can come forward. Listen to these things that wants to speak to you. You really need to find place and time to stand in silence and just listen to the inside. She's in perfect place. If she were happy, if everything was like swell and dance on roses, she wouldn't have to figure this out. But because she's in this state, she needs to feel her inside, and she might start to feel a sparkle inside of there that okay, so I've done this fight, I have fought against myself. The Five of Pentacles is disharmony, and now I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to find freedom into being the person that I am, like naturally. So I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Gemini viewers. So I want my dear Gemini to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. Okay, now I will just tune in to you, Gemini, and your energy for a few seconds. So, my dear Gemini, see what's up for you here in August. So this is kind of the future, second half of August, maybe going into September, and this is the beginning. It's the now, so it's the beginning of August or middle of August, until middle of August, and this is the past, so it might be like July. And here we have the Hermit. So this is the time where we go inside ourselves and visit the moon and figure things out. And we can see that the Hermit is not a person that would betray oneself. Okay, he do trust himself. In other case, he wouldn't be brave enough to go here all alone. And the wolf by his side is kind of indicating in what state and what kind of mentality he's in. So I'm thinking you are on a very beautiful spiritual journey to find yourself. And this is the now, and here we have the sun. So first it was just this little light here in the palms of your hand, holding this light, this lantern, showing the way, your inner light, your longing kind of. And here it has illuminated the whole of you. So this is Virgo and this is Leo. So self-knowledge and self-acceptance. And many people that have meditated for like 40 years in a cave can testify to when they close their eyes, they don't see darkness anymore. They actually see light, their inner light. And first, it's just, this is your attention span, and you can put it wherever, like either on the outside of you, maybe in what you're thinking or what you're feeling in your body. But here you are totally illuminated. So it's about expanding your awareness and be able to be aware of multiple things in the same time, like being able to listen very closely to a deep friend while they are talking, and in the same time being able to feel the vibration that this talk, these words are sending inside of you. So knowing how it's being received by your entity. So it's illumination, enlightenment. In many cases we can see with the Sun card that it's two twins in this card, but here it's just one baby and their horse. It's a light colored horse to show known feelings, known intention, and the child is naked to show vulnerability, but we can also see on their posture and their halo that they are also as sure on themselves as the hermit was. So what I meant with this twin thing is that I'm thinking that the sun is much about Gemini too, and illuminating this. You have already often this ability to see two different sides of things, and argumenting, being like the devil's lawyer, being able to argument for this and this. So it might be that you will be able to start to see things like in a much more illuminated state, like being able to see everything in the same time. It can of course be troublesome also, because usually when we want to stop with excessive thinking, for example, which might also be a Gemini problem, we want to focus on something else, like the beating of your heart, your breath, the feeling inside of you, maybe the most painful feeling, just giving it light and attention, and therefore also love, and you will stop thinking. But with your particular awareness, it might be hard, and it's more harder for you to focus on one thing to prevent you from racing away with something else like your thoughts. But then you need to work even harder to be in the eye, in the moment, in being the watcher instead of being the mind or being the feeling. Don't let it devour you. Try to be in attention of them, but not being them or identifying with them, as little as you are not supposed to identify with a certain relationship, your looks, your age, your occupation. This is also things that's surface things. You need to identify with your soul. So as the hermit and the sun is kind of suggesting. And here we have the future, and it's a Prince of Cups. So in status of loneliness, you have come to some like awareness here that might be in the realms of feeling, what you are actually feeling, what you actually want, what your dreams look like. It might also be that someone has thought things through and is now going to come with a offer to you, or you have thought things through and going to come with an offer to someone else. This is Pisces. So Pisces, Leo and Virgo we have in this here in the bottom of the decks. Okay, so this is your past, and we have a Three of Pentacles. So Three of Pentacles is a situation when we're working together with other entities, like your partner, your family, work colleagues, and even the divine. Like in together we are working towards something, and it might also be different entities inside of you, the Holy Trinity, that's working together to create something healthy, something whole, something good, okay, something prosperous. And here it's like the writing on the wall. So I'm thinking you are starting to align more and more with yourself, and you are less and less scared what other people will think about you. You are more proud of who you really are, and more in ability to show it, because you know that you are good and you always try your best. We don't see things, we can't know what kind of consequences will come of our actions, but we can always do the best we can. And this is what I'm seeing with Gemini here, that you do the best you can. And in hindsight, it can be easy to say, yes, you did the wrong choice and people can judge you for this. But if you always trust, you know that you are doing the best you can, and you always trust that whatever happens is for the best, you can more and more start to align with yourself and care less and less about, like I said, worldly titles or what other people think. You know, and you have this mission or this your worldview that's going to be make you able to work together with the divine to fulfill your life's mission, and no one else can know. They haven't walked a mile in your shoes, so they don't know. So don't let people judge you for the work that you are doing. And then we have a Princess of Wands. So Princess of Wands is a very strong longing, and we can see she has like a similar attitude like this hermit here, but the page is much more social. The hermit wants to be alone. We can see this on his cape, but her cape is taken down. So I'm thinking you have gone through some situation where you wanted to be alone with your thinking and figure things out, but now you feel ready, or you felt ready in the past here for being with other people again and socialize and try out the new things that you learned when you were in the hermit stage. So it's much more, it's like sending messages, it's about reaching out, taking chances, saying yes to things that's being offered to you, and have this is this vibration of expectations and longings. So it's very beautiful, and it's kind of the life force that drives the world to grow. And here we have the Queen of Pentacles. She's the icon of growth. She's the gardener, the one that nourished the earth and the animals. And here we have a rabbit. A rabbit is usually like it's a very careful animal. It doesn't want to be caught. It doesn't want to be the victim of a perpetrator or a predator. But when it comes out like this and faces you, it's like your own vulnerability. So it's something vulnerable that has wakened in you in these moments of loneliness. It's a certain longing vibration to show the world who you really is, but in the same time being very anxious about the consequences for your the vulnerable parts of you. So it's like I'm feeling a person almost holding their breath. They long for something so very much, but they don't know how to express it, or it's like a person wants to reach out to something that will fulfill their needs, but they are afraid to be vulnerable and show that they actually have needs. So it might be that some of you are dealing with a person that's a little bit of a hermit kind of person, and they do want to be with you. Queen of Pentacles here, it's like having a committed love relationship, for example, or really putting your willingness into the work that you are doing, wanting to create something beautiful together with other people. But this vulnerability might have been what has stopped you before, or stopped this other person before. But it's a deep longing to belong, after being like, this is a rather secure posture, to be like a wolf predator and act like you don't care about the person in the world, and you are so brave and can walk on your own, while this is telling another story of a person that has deep longings to be a part of society and take part of the riches that's therein. But that also makes you very vulnerable, because if they don't want you, if they are going to expel you, put you out in the cold, then the other posture was more, it was better for your ego when you kind of showed that you didn't care. To actually show that you care might be a big change, a big like turn that make the most vulnerable sides to you come up to surface, and that might freak people out. So if you have been dealing with a loner, or someone that has been a little bit maybe secretive, here they actually seems to long to be they long to belong, but they are careful, okay, or you are careful. So this is in your now, and we have a Queen of Wands here underneath the Three of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, that's very fiery but almost desert-like. So there's something here. It's someone that has a lot to offer, but they are full of self-respect, and they rather, it's very hard, it's a feeling, so I'm trying to interpret it to words, which very hard. It's a person that feels very in self-respect, and they are determined, and they know what they have to offer, and they are not going to give it away to someone that's too coward, okay? So that's kind of what I'm feeling here, that someone is not going to accept cowardly behavior. It might even create some kind of aggression, or and someone being expelled. So and this is of course another problem for the hermit here. If they feel left out in the cold, and they have acted very cool before, will people forgive you for this, or will you forgive this person for acting like they didn't have a heart, or they weren't vulnerable, or they didn't want to have this? So I'm thinking that something has been going on maybe for a long time, and people, it's a lot of water that has run underneath the bridges. So there's things that needs to be forgiven. And if this person have changed their mind and now finally wants to be a part of this society, they also need to be ready to ask for forgiveness for the cowardly behavior that they have had before. I'm thinking about the song Sam Smith, Too Good at Goodbyes. So this hermit is really good at goodbyes, and they're acting like they don't care and make you feel worthless, for example, because they don't want to show you vulnerability. And if they now want this, what you have offered all along, they have a lot of things to they need to show some true determination. So maybe it's good if someone is pissed here and just not accepting this, because it's easy for this person maybe to go back into rabbit behavior and, you know, skippity scoop and be gone in the woods. And that would, of course, break this person's heart even more. Okay, so, and we see two queens here and a prince of wands. So some might also be like having multiple partners, not because they are evil, but because they always want to be safe. So people can be stupid like this. They don't understand that what they are doing towards others is the really mean thing that they themselves didn't want to be faced with. So someone can have like a girlfriend in every corner to and act like they are very like, oh, I'm a loner, I need to be alone, so I'm just coming for this these visits, this very like rabbit visits, coming, sniffing around a little bit, and then being gone like with the speed of lightning. And they say, oh, I'm a loner, I need to be alone, I'm so cool, I'm actually this wolf, but they are really this rabbit. And all these people, it doesn't have to be females, it can be males that's mostly living in their feminine side, like being very, very altruistic, giving, nurturing, empathic, the typical feminine qualities, and they're being like played a little bit by someone that's sometimes acts like they want to be a part of, and sometimes just vanish. Okay, so it's very flaky behavior. It's very like someone being like a worm, like slippery, and they don't really mean harm. They are just super, super scared, and they expect everyone else to be super, super brave, so they can be brave enough to come out and say hello and be a little, like a time with you, and then disappear again. So there's enough bravery here to go around, of course, but we shouldn't really support this kind of behavior. The person needs to grow up. Okay, and here we have a Prince of Pentacles. So Princess of Wands and Prince of Pentacles, Princess of Pentacles, and it's fire and earth again. So it might be that you have to choose between a fire and an earth person. But mostly I'm thinking that it's two different states that you are in right now. Either you are this nurturing person that just gives your love away, this beautiful willingness to see the best in other people and see their beautiful soul. And then sometimes it turns to this Queen of Wands that's like full of self-respect, and they expect other people to be grown up too. So it's like flickering lights here. There might be two people that both has these qualities. One is more like their fire is young, like this, with putting boundaries and wanting respect and being brave. And the other one has this more feminine qualities with being nurturing and nesting and committed and willing to do the work. We have 2 here, beautiful willingness to do the work and to be a good student. And I'm thinking it's coming from this hermit person that really wants to be a good student, wants to learn about this, but they are this very shy forest animal. So it's not so much bad bones in them, but they are just easily scared. And you can mock them all you want for this, but if you were as scared as them, maybe you would act in the same way. And of course, this whole thing shouldn't be built on the one that's brave, but there's something here that needs a little bit of your understanding. Okay, next card, death. Yes, okay, so this person that has been a little bit skittish and not particularly brave, they will have to go through this great change and to sacrifice their ego or their self-perseverance for the greater good of humanity. So eventually we'll come to this. And it might be that you, Gemini, is the one that send them on this journey. You acknowledge their willingness, but you're also this very strict teacher that will, not take any crap from their students. So if they are not, I want to say manning up, if they are not pulling themselves together, you might sacrifice them altogether. And it's if there's two different, like a person having 2 different families or people that they're leaning on, it might be that both of these situations that have made this person, this fluty person, very safe before, both of these situations is going to fall for them in the same time and cause this death to happen. So it's arranged, of course. It's a major arcana card, so the people in this reading is helping, but it's the divine that orchestrates all these things. And these 2 pages, it might talk about twin flame relationship. We don't see any air here, but this card is talking about being the person that you are naturally, so being the rabbit, if you are a rabbit and show rabbit tendencies, like instead of acting cool like a wolf, you will say, I'm so super scared. The reason to why I'm not able to stay with you is that I'm scared of you breaking my heart. So that would be the natural thing for this person to say. But if we want to act with some ego coolness, we might say that we are a wolf when we really are a rabbit. So here is like a person standing up for being a rabbit. And this is a Princess of Wands. So Princess of Wands is ready to sacrifice themselves for the greater cause, like the greater good of everything. So it's a totally different, much more fearless kind of energy. But badly situated, it would be a person just wanting things for themselves. So you can put this, you can know, when you hear me explaining the personalities of these different people, you can understand who they are in your outside life or the different sides to you, because everything that's mirrored to the outside of your life is also within you. So you also have the rabbit and the more brave tendencies. Death is Scorpio, so it's transformation. Transforming from water to fire and fire to water. The bird phoenix that's arises. And we see the snake here that's giving its mortal bite, but it's also shedding its skin and coming out all new. So it's about death and new beginning. So here someone needs to kind of give themselves up to have this new beginning. Well, it's everything I had to say about that. And here we have the sun. So sun, some of you might be dealing with, this is Leo, this is usually Aries, it might be Sagittarius energy as well. So some of you might be dealing with a fire sign that's right now very determined on asking for the truth, but this might be you, and you might have fire in your chart, or we are like in the last few months of the Leo North Node. So it might be that you are now standing up for who you are and what you want, and you're not going to take some faked compromises. So it's making you a little bit pissed off, but it's just so you will follow the divine guidance and put an end to things that you can't sustain anymore. You can't allow them to be there anymore, because it's kind of shedding away on you. It's like one person is their cowardness, it's forcing the other person to be utterly brave and maybe showing everything about themselves. Yes, calm down, I do love you, I'm not sure, I'm going to run away again. So it's requiring maybe too much of these entities, and therefore they get pissed off. So it's a natural reaction, and if people would follow more their true natural reaction and communicate this, like speak your truth even if your voice shakes, even if the consequences would be like an ending, things would get more real. Like, keep it real. Oh, that's my best advice in this situation. Keep it real. If you're pissed off, you're pissed off. If you want to be a good student and do the works, tell it. If you want to if you still love somebody, tell it. If you still long for something, tell it. So be open as possible, but also have very clear boundaries. This is death. It's 13. 1 + 3 is 4. So it's about Emperor as well. So it's about maybe the divine masculine here, in this case the Hermit and Death, growing up. Instead of running away from responsibility, taking responsibility for their most fragile feelings of longing and vulnerability and things like this. And so admitting to it, and therefore owning their own feelings and becoming more themselves, instead of keeping a false mask, like keeping themselves hidden. Okay, so this is the future, and we have the High Priest here. So the High Priest is usually Taurus, is energy about commitment. So it might be that Queen of Wands in this case is asking for commitment, asking for someone taking responsibility. They can't be running around in the mountains anymore. They need to, you know, add some value to the situation, the relationship. So it might be a work environmental thing where one person is not really taking responsibility for the work and shying away from it, while other people are forced to do all the work. So this kind of situation, and it's not going to be tolerated. Queen of Wands is Aries, so it can be like a boss kind of person, a male or a female, and it's very determined, and it wants loyalty and like every person putting in their best effort. So it's a demanding energy, but in the same time it's warm and generous, but it's demanding everyone to be warm and generous and doing their fair share of work. And pissed off also here. So and here we have the Prince of Swords. So Prince of Swords is actually Gemini, and it comes underneath these two princes, the Princess of Wands and Princess of Pentacles. So for many of you, this is something that you need to kind of digest inside of you, both your longing and your true natural self without the mask. Here we can see still not wearing a mask, but a shield and being ready for attacking. So it doesn't always have to be Gemini in this case. It can be also someone attacking the values of commitment and doing work together. It can be also some kind of revolution here. Maybe people of the old have done something in a way that you are not going to put up with. You have a new idea of how to do things, and you want people to hear your voice. For many of you, it will be again masculine influence, like a masculine side in either a female or a male that wants freedom and doesn't want commitment, but actually attacking the idea of commitment or responsibility or taking like on any burden for me. I'm not going to do it. Not the same rules are applying for me. I will take whatever I want. And then it's a little bit of a childish energy, but it's going to have to force to face their own, like their own vulnerability and their own longing anyway, because either this energy doesn't fail, it doesn't fall. So it says, well, if you don't commit to work, then you are sacked. So you don't have any job anymore. You are dead to us here. So what does this entity win with acting in this way to not take responsibility? They will win nothing. So they will eventually see that their ways are not leading to the prosperity that they want. People are not afraid anymore of their threats or the things that they might, like the logic that they are keeping. So I'm thinking there's like a big chance of transformation in this situation. Even if the situation goes like really bad or really wrong, it still holds the seeds to transformation, because it just means that some people need to show that they mean business, and there's going to be consequences for people that doesn't help, okay, that doesn't put in their effort. Then the tribe is closing up, like with the people that actually are being there for each other and supporting each other, and the one that doesn't support or doesn't contribute or doesn't help are excluded. So for some of you it's going to be like this, but it doesn't change the fact that this person in this case will feel very unjustly treated. But it's a child that might need to grow up, go through some transformation. And the next card is the Queen of Swords. So now we have 3 queens and the Divine Masculine in this reading, the High Priest there. And also the Prince of Cups here. So I'm thinking mistakes will be made, and people will eventually say that they're sorry for this, and they might have to prove themselves worthy before being allowed back into the tribe, into the warm embrace of the mother here. So Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, and 2 princes and 2 pages. So someone is trying different things. First they try to be maybe aggressive, and then they try to be nice, and they try to, like, a lot of different masks that they are holding in front of their face, instead of in the end I think they need to come as their true genuine self, because they have been cast out in the cold here, and they are going to have to perform in a better way to be allowed back in. So this is what I'm seeing. So for some of you that has been forced to exclude someone that you might really like, or that was a big asset for maybe your company, for example, because they were witty and smart and came with new ideas, but they become far too spoiled, feel assured that this person needs this treatment of you are asking for more responsibility from their side, because in other case they won't ever grow. They will just grow more full of themselves, and this situation doesn't want that. It wants people to evolve into equals. People around this entity won't tolerate any childish behavior, and that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's going to be, and here Queen of Swords, if this is you, and this is a person acting in some stupid way, you see what you're doing, you're just ignoring them. It's like, yes, as long as, it's like how you train a dog. If they're doing something stupid, you kind of, you say no, and then you ignore them. And if they're doing something good, you are turning your whole attention towards them, you are looking at them, and you're pitching up your voice and saying, oh, good job, like, oh, really good. But oh no, now they're doing that stupid, you say no, and you turn your back and put your attention elsewhere. Sometimes we need to use this also towards grown-up people that's not acting particularly grown up. So it seems like you have a lot of responsibility here to not cave in just because you love the person, because it might not be in their best interest to be treated like with silky gloves. Okay, so I'll read the Princess of Pentacles to you. That's the center card of the reading, to give you a little bit more information about the central issue in this situation. The princess is fascinated by the pentacle that she holds. So some kind of seed, some kind of situation that's very valuable. The type of person indicated by this card may well be a student or someone involved in study or in creative work. It's like the Prince of Pentacles can be an artist or someone working with dreams, things like this. Although amenable and good-natured, they may be shy, you know, the rabbit, and may tend to spend time alone, like the hermit, absorbed in their work, but the seed of creativity stirs in their depths. Studious, self-reliant, good-natured. If you have drawn this card, this may well be a signal that there's a potential for a new phase of creativity in your life. If this is so, see if you can spend time meditating on both the seeds of your creative projects that lie in the past and on your vision of them as you would like them to see them manifest in the future. The card can also indicate the arrival of happy news about a family member or a friend, or good news about money, investment, property or work, although it's likely that this news will be about relatively small sums or gains. But we see here immediately the death. This is a new beginning and this is death. So I'm thinking someone is coming and presenting themselves to you. They don't want to be lonely anymore. They might be trying, you know, coming back to different places of work and say, can I have a job here? Can I have a job here? Can I have a job there? Or a girl or a boy coming and saying, calling their different suitors and saying, oh, should we hang, should we hang, should we hang? But it seems like no one is particularly interested in this, because they know maybe from previous experience that this workforce isn't much to be reckoned with, or this past lover only means trouble and disappointment. So this person is now going to have to up their game to be able to take part of again. They need to show more serious work, more commitment, more like have more to show for the words that they spread around. They might be very charming and show a lot of like that they want to apply themselves, but in the end it's just they're just here for selfish reason a little bit, and society won't like society or you won't look at that with particularly forgiving eyes. So they might have to come again and again with different offers. Okay, if I work weekends as well, or okay, if we commit to each other, or if we engage, you know, and then you might hear their prayers. Okay, so I will take also a card for from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and we have faith in the process. So sometimes either you are this person that's being shunted away and you don't understand why, because people who have been so nice before, or if you are the person that needs to say no to this person, even though they are charming, you know that they need to grow. You need to have faith in the process and understand that we can't always get what we want. We might want this person, but we want them to come with something more serious maybe. No matter how powerful we are, how much courage and strength we have, there are times when we can't quite move ourselves along to the next phase of life or creative exploration. At such times, we need some divine intervention, a little help in pulling our trolley along, so to speak. When we are at the edge of our own limits and have no more personal resources, we might be left with only one spiritual power, that of fate. Fortunately, that is enough. So if you imagine you were this person, not understanding why people are acting like this and they liked you before, imagine that you would be feel very lost, and you might need like some kind of guidance on what it is that you actually need to change. So people need to really communicate here, pages, communicate like ethics and morals, and of society and what kind of demands society have on a person. For a new young employee, for example, that has been spoiled by mommy, it might not be that easy to find themselves being a part of a workforce. So you need to tell them what's expected of them very clearly. So not only fate might be needed, but also some education. As unlikely as it may seem, the invisible help from the universe is often more powerful than the physical efforts of 1,000 men. That is because the invisible help is not limited by physical laws. It can shift, bend, and move in ways that defy limitation. It can affect, evoke, and influence situations through invisible but undeniable persuasive means. So I'm thinking these queens in this reading is kind of helpful because and also the High Priestess, because they hold a lot of information and wisdom. But also the divine forces here needs to come together to help. So if you feel helpless because you can't get a person to understand what's required of them, have faith. Okay, the divine will help you. You are in a situation where you cannot set right the course of events all by yourself. This is not an indication that you have done something wrong, nor does this suggest that you are not strong enough. It is a sign that there is something bigger unfolding in your life, and your willpower will be supplemented by the power of life itself. Sometimes a bigger plan needs to manifest for the benefit of humanity and the earth. So you are part of this to evolve the human race, and then sometimes we need to up our game and show that the stakes is higher now. More are required. You need to shift your perspective to realize that you are a part of a greater unfoldment of life, that your individual life serves the greater plan, and that you are not separate from its genius. This is what is happening now. You happen to be instrumental to the greater plan, and as such, you need to accept your position and be moved, while also being empowered and protected as you make personal progress through your role in the grander scheme. This is a time for humility and trust. You need complete faith in the process and events that are happening. There is nothing to worry about. You will be moved most fully and easily, and with the most grace and assistance through your faithful surrender. Ironically, like surrendering to that you want this person at your workforce, or at your partner, or you want to be able to invite all your family members, but it's not possible because they are not making the effort. So you might need to just, okay, so this is, it's like you're forced to take an uncomfortable decision, and you need to have trust and faith that this will be for the greater good of everything. Yes, faithful surrender. Ironically, it is through complete surrender in total faith that we become the most empowered. When we are no longer trying to impede the perfection of the greater plan, we can be aligned with and moved by the process. So imagine that this person that has been so fearful just accept that they are fearful, and instead of approaching people like, I'm so cool and charming, and doesn't you want to let me in because of all of my wits and everything I have to offer, and you say no, and they kind of accept this and accept their own fear and start to show this and come and with like full authenticity come and say, like have faith that people will actually embrace them for who they are, the coward that they might be, and that they might have social phobia or other kind of thing that they try to hide. But here they're coming and showing faith and saying, okay, so I have been acting in this way, but really this is how I feel. I think good forces would be gathered to help such a person through whatever they are going through. When we are no longer trying to impede the perfection, we can be aligned with and moved by the process. So when we're no longer like trying to be perfect and trying to show a brave face, and instead say, okay, I'm I'm surrendering. This is who I am, and this is what I'm fighting with. I think good forces would be collected to help on this journey. Having faith in the benevolence of life rather than harboring the suspicious that life is seeking to catch us out, have a joke at our expense, or carelessly toss us about as though we meant nothing. Then we can relax a little. Having faith in the process gives you space to be curious about what is taking place and to relax enough to be open to what we are most in need of, even if we aren't exactly sure what that is or how it can happen. The guidance from this oracle comes direct from the greater source of life itself. There is now an opportunity for you to be moved from the situation you are currently in to the next chapter in your life story. You can't do it on your own. It is too big a shift. It needs the grace of life to intervene on your behalf. You will need faith, though. You may feel as though the wheels of your trolley are coming off or that they are a bit rickety, but you must also understand that the voice of life is now coming straight to your heart with this message. I have resources you know not of. It is safe to trust in my ways and in my wisdom, for I love you and I am guiding you into all that is rightfully yours. Know that what is rightfully yours is what your heart truly desires, and you need not to fear loss. Nothing that is meant to come to you will be denied, and it's safe for you to let go and allow me to move you. Through faith, peace is restored, and you are able to know this and perhaps have some fun in the process. Okay, so, and the little bird there, it's message from the divine, and I feel it's going to be very sweet messages, like love that you didn't understand were there. Okay, so my dear Gemini, hope this helped. I want to invite you to my webpage, www.queenofcupstarot.se. I also want to invite you back to my mid-month August reading that I will perform in the beginning of August. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful summer, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.